What's good, y'all? And welcome to my review for Obi-Wan Kenobi, Season 1. There's been rumors of like a Season 2 possibly happening. I don't know if that'll actually happen or not, but whatever. Yo, I just finished up the last episode, which you guys know was like 90 minutes long, which was kind of funny. I remember I was like, I'm sending it to some of my friends and some of my Star Wars. They're like, oh, hey, we're finally getting that Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi anthology movie we always wanted, because it was 90 minutes. The episode was like 90 minutes or something like that, man. Crazy. But, yeah, man. Anyway, this episode was fucking incredible, man. Honestly, the show itself, I should say, rather. The last episode was probably my favorite in the entire season, but yo, the show itself has been amazing. I know there's been a lot of people shitting on Obi-Wan Kenobi, a lot of slander against the series, and like I gotta agree with this Twitter account I follow. It's called like prequels memes or whatever, where I'm like, yeah, this show fucking slaps. What are y'all on about? This show is fucking incredible, man, and is easily the best of the Disney Plus Star Wars series, to be perfect. I love Mandalorian, you guys know I love Boba Fett. Love all those shows. But Obi-Wan Kenobi, man, that's the GOAT for me, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, it's in my bias because I grew up with the prequels, and that's obviously Star Wars to me. A little bit, but honestly, man, this show was absolutely incredible. All 6 episodes, man. I will say episode 4 was the weakest episode, but that was like the one episode everyone was shitting on. But I still really enjoyed that episode, man, but I will say that one was definitely the weakest. Anyway, guys, let's just jump in. So, the series, of course, stars my man, the GOATs! Hayden Christensen and Ewan motherfucking McGregor, Moss Ingram, Indra Varma, Raputa Friend, Viven Lural, Blair, if I'm saying that right, and of course, the GOAT, James Earl motherfucking Jones, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, it's so good to hear his voice again. But yeah, man, this show was incredible. Oh yeah, I forgot the plot synopsis. I'm so hyped about this series, man. I almost forgot to do the plot synopsis. Anyway, the Jedi Master contends with the consequences of his greatest defeat, the downfall and corruption of his one-time friend and apprentice, Anakin Skywalker, who turns to the dark side as the evil Sith Lord Darth Vader. All right, first thing we got praise, the cast. Ewan McGregor, sweet mother of God, give this motherfucker an Emmy. Like, the Emmy for best performance by an actor should be a tight race between Oscar Isaac and Ewan McGregor for Moon Knight and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Nobody else should be even sniffing that fucking award but those two. Now, if you were to put a gun to my head and tell me to pick one, I'd probably go with Oscar Isaac, just because he was also doing Steven, and Jake Lockley, and of course his amazing performance in episode 5, I believe, of Moon Knight. Like, if you were to hold a gun to my head and tell me to pick one of them that should get the award, I'd probably lean more towards Oscar Isaac. But Jesus Christ, man, Hugh Mcgregor in this show is fucking incredible. Like when he his acting, like especially when he first sees Vader, when he finds out Vader is still alive, or Anakin is alive and he's now Vader and everything. Amazing performance. His performance is incredible throughout the entire series, especially during the first couple episodes when he's like all depressed and everything, and he's like shushed away the Force and everything, like Cal in Jedi Fallen Order. That his performance was incredible. His performance in like the last episode, especially. Oh my goodness. Oh, bruh, Ewan McGregor, man. Seriously, like I said, give this motherfucker an Emmy, man. He was absolutely fucking spectacular, man. His performance was incredible. Hayden Christensen, phenomenal in the suit, man. I loved him. He was great. First off, he has mastered the Vader strut. Like, that man got the strut down patch. He looked amazing, man, in the suit. He has such a commanding presence throughout the entire show, man. And oh my God, Hayden does so much, man, with this when he's in there. And I know in this, like, seeing Hayden in the suit, like I said, he was fucking phenomenal, man. Like, all the little like different things he does, like when he's near Obi-Wan and shit, man, and he can sense him and shit. Oh my God, Hayden's performance is just incredible throughout the entire, especially when he starts goading him, trying him to get to come out before they finally fight in episode 3, man. It's just, oh, I love it when he's just like casually snapping people's necks and shit. Oh, Hayden, man, he's so good, man. Seriously, and I'm glad to see people finally giving this man his fucking flowers. It's about, guys, at it in time, you will acknowledge how great his performance was in Revenge of the Sith. I will agree with you, his performance wasn't the greatest in Attack of the Clones, but that's probably just due to the shit dialogue. Nobody could have made that shit work, but Jesus Christ, in Revenge of the Sith, man, he is fucking incredible there, man, and he's fucking incredible here, man. And just seeing him in the suit in this show, and of course hearing James Earl Jones' voice, which, oh my god, he's so good. Oh, James Earl Jones, oh! So good to hear him. We'll talk a little bit more about James Earl Jones in a minute. But oh my god, he was incredible as well. His performance, man, once again, as always, phenomenal, spot on. This just makes me want a Vader Disney Plus series even more than I already did, because Hayden himself has also expressed interest, and of course there's rumors that he's going to be in Ahsoka too, which I would bet that we'll probably maybe get some sort of flashback or something in Ahsoka, where we maybe see Ahsoka meeting with Vader. Maybe they'll like readapt their meeting in Rebels, but do it in live action or something. I don't know, but I just like seeing, and Hayden himself has mentioned that he'd be down to do a Vader series, and from how good his performance was in this entire show, when he basically just has to go off his body language alone because he can't really speak because it's James Earl Jones doing the talking. It just makes me want that Vader series even more, especially now that Hayden's in the suit, and he has also expressed interest, and he is down to do the series as well. Disney, greenlight this shit. I don't care if it's just adapting the fucking comics. Give it to me! Seriously, man, he is fucking incredible, man. Moss Ingram as Reva, you guys know that she had some harassment in the comments, I think, which I feel like at that point is just standard. It's just standard order for Star Wars at this point. For any actor, you come with the franchise, you are not a part of Star Wars until you get death threats and shit. You are not part of Star Wars until you get that treatment, man. I feel that's just the status quo for Star Wars at this point. But she was fantastic, man. I thought Reva was a really interesting character, especially when we find out more about her and why she has such a hatred towards Obi-Wan. She is fantastic. I thought she was great. The rest of the cast is great. Vivian Lara Blair, if I'm saying her name, who plays Leia, she's phenomenal, man. I mentioned this is my first impression, man, but she is incredible in the show, and she just embodies so much of what Carrie Fisher brought to the role in the original and the sequel trilogy, man. She's phenomenal, man. I loved her. I loved her as Leia, man. The rest of the cast was fantastic. You guys already know. I mentioned I loved James Earl Jones. Now, let's talk about James Earl Jones real quick, because I was excited to hear that he was doing the voice again. Now, I don't know if you guys heard about this, but after he finally, when we started hearing him, I heard all these rumors about AI was being used, which at first I thought they were actually using AI just to recreate his voice completely, and James Earl Jones wasn't actually doing the dialogue. But from my understanding of it, and I could be wrong on this, James Earl Jones did do all the voices and everything, he did the lines and everything, but they used AI to de-age his voice, to make him sound closer to how he did in A New Hope. I think that's what they were getting at, and what the AI was used for. Which, if that's the case, Jesus Christ, that's some damn good AI. I will say it sounds a lot better than probably what they did with Mark Hamill and Book of Boba Fett. Because you guys remember I mentioned in my review for Book of Boba Fett that I thought Luke sounded off a bit. Which I'm assuming that was because they also used AI from as well to de-age his voice, but I guess they must have upgraded the technology or whatever the fuck they did, because it sounds way better with James Earl Jones and Darth Vader, man. He's fucking phenomenal, man. His performance, like I said, was fucking incredible. Alright, enough of me gushing about the cast. I'm gonna keep gushing about this entire review, though, if you guys couldn't notice. But another thing I got praised, the directing. Jesus fucking Christ. This is probably the best looking Star Wars has seen in a while. I would say out of all the Disney Plus series, I would say this is the best looking. I would almost say this might be better looking than the movies, but The Last Jedi and everything, I might, if I rewatch the sequel trilogy, I might say something different, but this is easily the best looking of all the Disney Plus series for Star Wars, man. The directing in this show is absolutely incredible. The cinematography, Jesus Christ, the lightsaber fights have never looked this goddamn good. I love how the light reflects and how the light is illuminating the ground around, because they mostly fight at night, and it just looks amazing. And there are so many amazing camera. One shot that I loved so much was in I want to say episode 4, might have been episode 3, when or might have been episode 5 actually. Now I think about it, with Reva, after she fails to get Obi-Wan, and Vader's just storming over to her, being like, "You were warned," and the camera is shaking and everything. Oh my god, it looks so. There's this other scene from the last episode. Oh, that had me creaming my fucking pants, man. Oh, it looks so good. But we'll talk about that in the sports. But as you guys can see, the cinematography and the directing of the show, fucking amazing, man. Absolutely legendary. And Vader, I gotta talk about Vader real quick. Man, did they Vader fucking justice here? I have heard for years at this point that EU Vader is OP as hell. EU Vader is OP as fuck. This, that, third. He was significantly underpowered in the movies. Rogue One is closer to how he was in the EU. I've heard all this shit about how OP Vader is in the EU for like years now. Basically since Disney took over, basically a little bit after that. But yo. They did Vader good in this because Vader is such a badass. This man is OP as fuck. If you guys have watched the show and y'all saw episode 5, y'all know what I'm talking about. But like I mentioned before, Hayden does such an amazing job. He has such a commanding presence and just like, Vader just looks so cool, man. Just so bad at the time. I already mentioned that in episode 3 when he's like snapping civilians' necks to try and get Obi-Wan out there. But when he's actually like fighting Obi-Wan, and I also love the little touch of like where he's only using with one hand his lightsaber. But oh my god, man! And of course then we got episode 5, which that was fucking awesome, man. That was cool. We'll talk more about that in the spoilers discussion. But Jesus Christ, man, that was incredible. The music, oh my god, the music. Oh, the music is incredible as well, man. Like we already know the theme is incredible because John Williams assisted with the score with the theme for Obi-Wan. That doubts with the score itself. I don't know who was the composer for this series, but Jesus fucking Christ, give that man a raise. The score was fucking phenomenal, man. I would definitely put this in one of the best scores in all of Star Wars, man. Seriously, the score was fucking incredible, man. What else can I gush about this series that I haven't already? Yeah, man. Episode, I mentioned, like, I love the first episodes. Love the last episode was obviously fantastic. The fights looked incredible, man. Like, especially like when we see Obi-Wan and Vader going at it. Ooh, yeah, that's great. I already mentioned the cinematography and directing, man. Yeah, I think that's about all I can really talk about, at least I can think of off the top of my head. I already mentioned how much I loved Leia, and I thought they did Vader great. Please give me the Vader Disney Plus series. Greenlight that shit, please, and have Hayden once again back in the suit with James Earl Jones doing his thing, man. Thank you. But, yeah, man. I think that's about all I can say for my pros. The only cons I would say with this series, like I said, a lot of people have been bitching about the writing and like a lot of the other parts of the show. I've noticed. Personally, I thought the writing was fine. I'm sure there's people gonna be bitching about like, oh, this doesn't make sense in episode 6, which we'll talk more about that in spoiler discussion because I can already see people probably having some issues with that. I will say, for me personally, I thought the writing was fine throughout the entire series. The only time I will say there were a couple points where even I was kind of like, okay, yeah, that is kind of stupid. Where the writing did falter a little bit for me, but that's about it, man. This show's fucking incredible, man. I got nothing but high praise for this series, man. If you haven't watched it already, go watch it. Binge it. All 6 episodes are already up on Disney Plus. Binge that shit. I got my dad to fucking watch it, for God's sakes. And we don't even have Disney Plus. All I did was show him the clip of Vader, and he was like, I'm in. Because my dad grew up with the original movie, so of course he was in. But, yeah, man, that's all I got to say for spoiler-free discussion. Obviously, now we're going to get into the spoiler discussion. I have to give my guys my final verdict. So, yeah, my final verdict for Obi-Wan Kenobi, to the shock of absolutely nobody, is a 10 out of fucking 10, ladies and gentlemen. And as I said before, we are now going to be entering the spoilers discussion. So if you guys do not want to get spoiled, leave now. For everyone else, let's go. So, all right, let's talk about the one thing that people I know are gonna bitch about. Obi-Wan leaving Vader for dead twice. I don't know if people have been saying this on Twitter. I made sure to stay off Twitter all day till I saw the actual episode itself. But I don't know if people have been saying this or not, but I can already see people complaining about like, oh, why would Obi-Wan leave Vader for dead twice? Especially after what happened after Revenge of the Sith, why would he just leave him again? Yeah, you can make the argument for that, but personally, I'm just like, A New Hope still needs to happen, man. So I kind of just forgive that kind of shit. That doesn't really bother because I'm like, yeah, A New Hope still has to happen, So whatever. But I will say, oh my god, that fight was fucking trouble, yo. The second fight between Obi-Wan and Vader, when Obi-Wan has finally got his strength back and he goes and does his full pose and everything. But oh my god, like I said, the fight itself looked incredible. I loved how the sabers were reflecting off of them, man, and illuminating their faces and shit. And like I said, lightsaber fights have never looked this good, man. Not since the prequels arguably have lightsaber fights look this fucking clean, man. But the sequels did have some cool fights. I'm not gonna diss the sequels too much because you guys know I love those movies. But that fight look was incredible, man. One thing I was found kind of interesting was that Vader was always using with one hand, was always using his lightsaber with one hand, which I always thought was kind of interesting. And I always kind of chalked this up because I don't know if you guys know this, But I remember I saw someone. I think Star Wars Theory might have mentioned this or somewhere else, where George Lucas, at least in the original trilogy, always wanted always wanted like Luke and whoever was in the Vader suit to always carry the lightsaber with two hands, just to like make sure to, like, make it seem like these swords, like these actually have weight to them, actual weight to them, like a samurai sword, because the whole thing with samurais and Jedi are very interconnected and shit. So, but Vader always carried, and then of course in the prequels, they were always going with one hand. You had all the flippy shit, but the sequels they kind of went back to having their two hands and lightsabers. But I always kind of, but Vader always only just had one hand with his lightsaber, which I always thought that was just clues from George being like, yeah, Vader is that fucking OP. He don't need two hands. One hand is enough for him to just beat the shit out of people, man. But I also thought that was cool. One thing I also thought was also really cool about the suit, about that second fight, was Obi-Wan was directly attacking the control panel in the middle of in Vader's chest. Because if you guys do not know, this is something I learned from the EU. I don't know if this was from Legends or canon, or it's Legends and canon. I don't fucking know or care. But Vader always is Vader is like very, when you guys know that he doesn't fight like he used to, like Anakin did. Obviously that comes a little bit from him being mostly robotic, after getting his lip color. But another reason that is also because he always had to protect the control panel on the front on his chest, because that's obviously where everything controls. That's how he's still breathing and shit with like the respirator and everything. All that is happening through that panel. So if that gets destroyed, Vader's kind of fucked. So he always has to protect it, which is also why he doesn't use force lighting and shit. So I thought it was really cool that Obi-Wan was directly attacking that around the end of the fight. I thought that shit was so fucking cool, man. And also I gotta say, yo, Rebels! This is how you do a final battle between two characters that have been built up for years. Not that one-hit bullshit you pull with Darth Maul. This is how it's done. Just want to say that because I'm still pissed off at that bullshit from Rebels. Fuck Rebels. Anyway, as I was saying, that fight still pisses me off, and how that was just a massive slap in the face of prequel fans. Yeah, long-awaited final duel between Obi-Wan and Darth Maul. One hit. Fuck you. Anyway, before I go off on a rant on that shit, this is how it's done. Like, this is how the final battle between Darth Maul and Obi-Wan should have looked like. But whatever. The fight was incredible, like I said, but the one thing I want to talk about, this is the one thing why I keep talking about this fight. The one thing that I loved so much about this fight was at the end of it, when Obi-Wan like cuts off parts of Vader's mask up, and you can actually see that it's Hayden inside. Vader's voice keeps fluctuating between being James Earl Jones's voice and Hayden's voice, which I thought was so cool. But the best part of this, and this had me creaming my pants, was where you see on Vader's helmet, where it's mostly just Vader's helmet, it has the red outline from his lightsaber. But the little hole in the middle that got cut open from the lightsaber that shows Hayden's face is covered in blue, illuminated from Obi-Wan's light, obviously insinuating the good that's still in Anakin, before it's eventually completely covered in red. Oh! I cream so hard at that shit, man. Oh! Film studies. Being a film student, like, that was so goddamn clean. That shot where it's like you can see it good in Anakin, and then when Obi-Wan says, then my friend really is gone, and it's completely red. Oh God, I love that shit. Oh, give me more, Daddy. I'm going off in this review, man. Can you tell I love this show? But anyway, that shot was fucking incredible, man. Another part that I love that we gotta talk about. Obviously, when Vader goes apeshit in episode 5, bro, when my man goes into his inner Star Killer and straight up stops the ship in midair, and then just started, obviously, as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, yo, my man's going into his inner Star Killer, which wasn't the only time Vader went into his inner Star Killer, when he stopped the ship, brought it down, and just started ripping it apart. But one part that I thought that just had me laughing, I'm like, oh, Obi-Wan's going to his inner Star Killer again, was when Obi-Wan leaves him, and Vader just screams, Obi-Wan! Because, how Darth Maul used to scream, Kenobi! And they're both played by the same actor that played Star Killer. So I thought that was pretty funny and a nice little coincidence. That where he just screams, Obi-Wan! But yeah, man, that was obviously the best part was when Revla goes to try and kill Anakin, because as we find out, she was one of the victims. She was there. She was one of the younglings that was there during Order 66 when Vader stormed the Jedi Temple. And I guess we never figured if it finally. There's one thing I will say I kind of wish we got a little bit more of was kind of how Revla escaped Vader during Order 66, because from it shows up in the episode, it seems like they've locked eyes and maybe he missed or he just didn't kill her or something, or maybe Vader just left Revla for dead. Or no. Well, she kind of describes it a little bit, and I'm remembering a little bit more from episode 5. But I kind of where she says she like hidden under like the dead bodies of her class of her fellow students to like hide from Vader. But when we see in the episode, they clearly locked eyes. So how did she manage to escape Vader there? If there's one thing I will say, I kind of wish they expanded a little bit more on, was that scene with Reva and Darth Vader when they met during Order 66. But that whole part, that one also great. But obviously, when Reva finally goes to kill Vader, and Vader stops the light, her lights are like right before it hits her, and he just turns to her and he just says, "Obi-Wan was wise to use you against me." And then my man just starts he's just casually dodging her attack, and then just throwing her around with the Force. I was like, "Yo, Vader, like, bro, I've never popped this hard for Vader, man." Then seeing just fucking throw Reva around like a bitch. That was fucking awesome whenever she keeps going. And one thing I also love about this fight is that Vader never grabs his own lightsaber. He takes Reva's lightsaber, breaks it in half, and then throws it to her. Almost like Vader was saying, "Bitch, you ain't on my level. You are not even worthy of my lightsaber. I'm gonna beat your ass with your own lightsaber." Fuck, I don't know if you know that's even right, but that was fucking awesome, man. And then he's just not even trying when he's blocking Reva's attacks, man. Oh, they did Vader so good in this series, man. Like I said, give me that solo Darth Vader series, please. I need more of this shit, man. I need more Vader in my life. But that was fucking incredible, man. That was fucking incredible, man. Love that episode, man. Seriously. Reva, like I said, mentioned for it, love your character. Leia was cool. It was nice also to see Luke. The couple times we got to see him and actually see Obi-Wan and Luke's first meetup, and he actually does say, "Hello there." That was pretty cool. And of course, we get like some nice cameos from both Emperor Palpatine. That was pretty cool. And of course, Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon Jinn. That was hype. And it looks like they did de-age him a little bit. I think they did, but because he looked about the same as he did in the Phantom Menace. Or maybe just Liam Neeson just doesn't age. But but obviously there's one thing we gotta talk about. The Attack of the Clones flashback in episode 5. That was obviously fucking awesome, man. And Hayden, I know a lot of people were bitching about they didn't DH Hayden. I'm pretty sure they did DH him a little bit, but probably not as much as they probably should have to make him look like he has Attack of the Clones. Which I also found kind of weird, because I've been seeing people bitching about Disney DHing their actors, not complaining people about them not DHing their actors. Which one do y'all want? Do you want them to DH them or not? DH the actors, but regardless of if Anakin looks way older than 19 or shit, that was fucking awesome just to see that. It honestly made me forget how much I hated Attack of the Clones. But that was pretty cool just to see Hayden and Obi-Wan, or Hayden and Ewan finally reunite as Anakin and Obi-Wan. That was so fucking up. That whole scene, of course, when they were flashing back and forth in episode 5, man. That was so good. That whole scene was so fucking up. It was just so good to see Hayden again and just see Hayden again, man. It was fucking awesome, man. It was incredible. I loved it. But, yeah, man. Obviously, we kind of get more, and I don't know if this was like this in Legends, because I think in Legends, Leia had no idea who the hell Obi-Wan really was. Or at least his connection to Anakin and shit. But I did love the relationship between Obi-Wan and Leia throughout the entire set. I thought they looked really good. Like, I love their interactions. I want to say in episode 3 when they're stuck on that desert planet and they're stuck with the stormtroopers. Obi-Wan has to bullshit his way out there, and Leia does a far more better job of bullshitting her way out of the situation with the stormtroopers and everything. But I love the final interaction they got where she actually does call him Obi-Wan. So obviously it means she knows him, and that obviously explains why she says, "In A New Hope, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope." Now, I'm pretty sure there was a different thing but that how it happens in Legends, but honestly, I think this is way better. I honestly prefer this way more, that Leia and Obi-Wan actually knew each other, and that's why she called upon him, because he even said, "If you ever need help, call upon this old man one more again." I just thought, because it obviously ties back to A New Hope and Leia saying, "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi." I just think that shit's cool, man. I love little callbacks like that further connect the Star Wars universe, man. Love that shit. But, yeah. I think that's about it. I think I've gushed about the series, and that's kind of talked about everything I really want to talk about. I'm not going to talk much about the clone thing that we saw in episode 4. That shit's out of my wheelhouse. That's probably some shit from the EU. Like I said, I don't pay attention to the EU that much, like outside the Disney Plus show, so I'm not even really going to discuss that because I really don't have anything to say about that. But yeah, man, love this show. Fucking amazing. Hopefully we might get more. A season 2, I'd be down for it. A Vader series, I'd be down for. I'm down to see what's next with Revla. If she ends up like making an appearance in another Disney Plus series, maybe she appears in the rumored Fallen Order Disney Plus series, because there's been rumors that the actor that plays Cal is signed on to do some live action roles for Cal as Cal. Don't know what that's about, so we might see her there, or maybe we see her in Jedi Fallen Order 2, for all we know. I don't know. But yeah, I'm down to see what happens with Revla. Excuse me, already mentioned I want to see the Darth Vader solo series. Obviously, be down for season 2 of Obi-Wan. And yeah, man, as usual, guys, leave your thoughts down in the comments. You guys thought of Obi-Wan? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What were your favorite parts of the series? What were some things you didn't like about the show? Leave that all down below, guys. But yeah, I've rambled on long enough. Anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter if you feel like it. Links down in the description box below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time. She's too